I'm delighted to say I'm joined by David McKinnon as we look forward to that huge second leg for Kilmarnock in the Europa League qualifying. Davey, thank you for joining us here on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. You must be looking forward to this game Thursday night.
Yeah, certainly am. I think that I know Derek McInnes very well. Not only is a great guy, but he's a wonderful tactician and man manager. So he'll have his players teed up to exactly go out and do enough to win this game. Every player that crosses the line for Kilmarnock or any team that he's been involved with know the way that they're to play. They know their job. And believe me, for a professional footballer, that's a huge thing, a huge positive for him. So he's done very well during the transfer window. He's brought in some really good players that have added to his squad. Robbie McCrory in goals, of course. He'll give a bit of stability for a number of years. Bruce Anderson, a player that I know well, and he'll be a great foil for Kyle Vassell up front. And probably a great bit of business that he's done is Stuart Finlay. He's managed to extend his loan from Oxford, so he gives huge stability at the back. So they're in good shape. And lastly, he signed Corey Ndabi, left back. Actually paid money for him. So that tells you a lot about how Kilmarnock have moved on, because that's probably the first time in a number of years that they've signed a player for cash. So they're in good shape for tomorrow night. And I'm certainly looking forward to a good victory for them to go into the next round.
The tie is perfectly poised heading into this second leg. What did you make of Kilmarnock's performance and tactical setup by Derek McInnes in that first leg?
I think it was good. I think that, but for some luck with some decisions, they do have gone in quite comfortably 3-1. I think, but the good thing about the rule change from my days was that if you lost a goal at home, in the event of a draw over the tie, it would count double. And I was in the receiving end. I've been kicked out of a few European ties because of conceding at home. So they've not got that legacy to inhibit them. They're set up perfectly. It's basically 0-0 going out, and he will do enough, I think, to get it over the line.
There were a lot of positives, but to go over there and take the victory, they will need to improve. And what areas do you think Kilmarnock will need to improve in heading into this second leg?
Well, I think they'll have to thwart the pace of the players up front, particularly Kazim Lakeby, the 21-year-old forward who scored the goal for the Bruges side. But he's a wee bit overconfident, because I see in the media he's gone out and said it's just a formality tomorrow night for his side to beat Kilmarnock. So Derek McInnes no doubt will be cutting that out and putting it up in the notice board in the dressing room, because that's a huge, believe me, when your opposition players say that sort of thing, it's a huge incentive for you to go out and beat them. So it's going to be difficult, but I think tactically bringing Ndabi in will give him an option to go to 3-5-2, pushing Ndabi into the left wing back position, with Danny Armstrong over on the right, and that'll give him a strength in midfield, but it will also give him an opportunity to get the ball into the box for Kyle Vassell, because I think he's a key player for them tomorrow night.
Just looking at Cercle Brugge, obviously a 3-0 defeat for them in the league at the weekend, heading home, back playing on grass. Do you think they're the favourites heading into the second leg?
I don't think so. I think that their stadium they share with Club Brugge, it holds just under 30,000, and by all accounts, looking at the home support, that'll be around 6, maybe 7 at a push. But I think there'll be 2,000 or 3,000 Kilmarnock supporters there. There's certainly been a mass exodus from Ayrshire over the last day or so, and they'll give the side incredible support. And when you're playing in that kind of environment and you've got a lot of travelling supporters, it certainly gives you a boost. So I don't think that Cercle will start favourites. I think it's pretty even. The odds will be pretty even, and it's just who succeeds on the night. But I think there'll be plenty of chances for Kilmarnock, and it's just that ability to put them away.
There were a number of standout performances and players in that first leg. One of them, David Watson, a real breakout season for him last year, and he just keeps on getting better. How far could he go in the game, do you think?
Yeah, I think he can go a long way. I think that I've watched him emerge into the first team. He's been managed well. You know, they originally played him in just a few games. He's now become the stalwart in midfield, and he's got a huge energy going forward, and he'll only improve as the years go on. So that augurs well for Kilmarnock. And I was really pleased that they managed to get him to stay for a period, because when young players are coming through, sometimes their agents fill their heads with, look, you can go to X team down in England or abroad or whatever. But I'm glad that he's a very sensible boy, and I think he's actually knows that he's still learning the game. And who better imagine than Derek McInnes to guide him through and get him a move, because he'll eventually get a move away from Rugby Park. But the timing will have to be perfect, and I think the club will benefit, and he will benefit if he stays on for a year or so.
The fans back at Rugby Park in that first leg, well, I think we can all agree they were immense. They really helped the team get back into the game after they fell behind. 2,500 making the trip over to Belgium. You've played for Kilmarnock, you know this fan base. How important could a European run be to these fans?
Well, I think they're now expecting it. I think last season when they were doing so well, there was an expectation. I spoke to the fans, and they were all planning a European trip. So I think that they deserve that. I think there's a great synergy at the club. I think the owner, Billy Bowie, is committing money to the club. The fans through the Killie Trust, do incredible work for the club. So. And also, there's a great relationship between the fans and the players. So, all in all, Kilmarnock's in a really good position this year. They obviously get the European tie out. They come back and they play Celtic on Sunday. That'll be a great test for them. But I believe this season they can really kick on and push themselves way up the league. I think even in threatening Rangers and Celtic at times, because certainly last season they played extremely well against them. So I don't think they've got anything to fear. I think the fans are a huge support that they rely on, and as I say, there's a great synergy between the fans and the players, and it was like that in my time. The fans really get behind the team, and that does huge for the players. They once they know that the fans are behind them, they cheer every tackle, and that gives the players a huge amount of confidence. And as I say to you, going out to Belgium, having that amount of fans behind you, it will be like an extra man for them.
David, can I ask you, what would success be for Kilmarnock this season, not only in Europe but also in the league, in your opinion?
Well, I think in Europe, getting probably another 2 or 3 games out of it, depending on the draw, getting a good draw. Obviously, they know who their opponent in the next round, but really going, trying to get pushed back beyond Christmas, and it's not. You say that, and people sometimes quiz, but that should be the expectations. Getting into the new year still in Europe, that'd be an absolute wonderful thing for Kilmarnock. As I say, Derek's assembled a squad that is capable of doing that. As far as the league's concerned, I think that obviously Hearts, their ambition was to split Rangers and Celtic, so I think Kilmarnock should be the same. When I was there as a chief executive, Kilmarnock habitually finished 3rd and 4th in the league, and that was simply because they had everything going for them at that time. Really good manager, Jim Jeffries, and that should be the expectation. Trying to split the old firm and see as far as they can get.
Before I let you go, can I get a score prediction for tomorrow night?
Yes, absolutely. 2-1 Kilmarnock. I think they'll concede, but I think with the fans behind them, and indeed the way they'll set themselves up, I think they can score a couple of goals. So 2-1 Kilmarnock. Danny Armstrong and Kyle Vassell. How's that for a prediction?
That's perfect, Davey. Thank you so much for joining us on PRZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Hope you enjoy the game tomorrow night.